little bit dangerous. So let's jump into this and get ready to go. Again, guys, welcome to the SC2ITL Season 6 Qualifiers, day number 3. Our final day of qualifiers will be on Thursday, where we see Flipside Tactics, Nuit Blanche, Romantic Gaming and Red Wolves going up against each other to try and secure that final spot in the first division. And that'll be coming up again on Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be live with the Go for SC2 December finals as well, so you can check that out. Otherwise, just in general, you can see the stream, hit the follow to see when the stream goes live in the future. To the top right side of the map from Gravity, we're going to have the blue Terran player. Let's hear it for EJK. And to the bottom left, we're going to have our orange Terran player from Madcorps Gaming. It's going to be Abaddon. Or Abaddon, I guess I should say. It's emphasis on the B, so Abaddon. 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 Something like that. I'll get there. So again, guys, what's up in the chat? Hello everyone who's dropping by. Hello Poison and Neuralisk and Rapid Bad Boy. What's up everyone? Again, this is going to be an interesting map because, interesting match at least, because this is a match where both teams are maybe I don't know, because Madcorps have a lot of very strong players, but I kind of feel Gravity should still be favoured. But I don't want to put a prediction down at all, because I really feel as though this can go any which way, and I think either team actually also has a very good chance at taking down Euronics Gaming and Firecake in the final match today, the winners match. So we'll see what happens. I see the Reaper here going to actually be very well placed with that Widow Mine or grenade, and is able to pick off that SCV. It's just been a Reaper expand from both players, as both of them stay on one single gas while they go into the factory here initially, and now the second gas will come down from EJK, and I imagine we'll see him, Abaddon, going into a second gas kind of soon as well, unless he's going to go into a very fast free command center play or react Italians or something, but that doesn't look to be the case just yet. I wanted to mention, I think it's too late to show it again now, but the SCV that scouted did actually stop off at the gold minerals in the middle of the map, and opted to stop and mine a set of those, so just picking up some extra minerals on the way back, which is a very, 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 very small factor in the game, but it's still a factor. Very small, but it's kind of cute. I mean, you may as well, right? Yeah, as if he's going to spend time mining blue minerals up here, may as well, if he's walking by, take some gold minerals with it. So, anyways, it was a much later second gas here from Abaddon. He's only just now adding this on. So it's going to be just Marine, Hellion, and probably Medevac here to begin with. Now he's going to add on his add-ons as well. It's actually just Marine, Hellion, and we'll go into some extra production now. Grenade will actually get some damage done initially here, as the fastest second gas for EJK is going to allow him to go into a fairly quick Cyclone. And he's going to have this starport coming up as well. We'll see exactly what he wants to go into off of this in the fairly near future. This Reaper falling back home. Scan comes on to the main base right now, so Abaddon just wants to get a bit of an idea as to what's going on. He sees that starport floating overhead, and it looks as though EJK is going to try and kind of change his mind a little bit as to what he was going to do. He was maybe going to land out on the tech lab, and, well, who knows what he was going to build. But he's just going to land it normally now, and he's just going to build a Viking, and maybe just a siege tank out of the factory, unless he wants to build another add-on. Could just go straight in towards what's going to be his composition here for the majority of the rest of the game. With the later gas, Abaddon goes into a fast forward CC, but EJK does the same as well. So both players just playing kind of very defensive, very macro-oriented to start up here. That factory is going to move. I wonder if the factory goes... I wonder which way around EJK does this. Starport is going to go on the tech lab. I wonder if the factory goes on the reactor, or if he's just going to use it to build another add-on. He's going to put on the reactor. Interesting. So there's going to be Cloak Banshees here, kind of a bit delayed, but will come in anyways. It's actually going to be a Raven. Okay. Well, I guess that's another option you can always go for, and the Raven will allow you to kind of stay safe as well. It's not really going to be much use in this game, although once he sees that he's nice and safe, he can be fairly aggressive with it. Actually, the auto turrets from the Raven can be very useful, and actually generally do tend to pick off a handful of SCVs here or there. So it's just been straight up Marine tank Medevac so far from Abaddon. Nothing really too crazy about this. A Hellion coming across the map will try to scout. He's actually going to get up here. He's going to see the Raven on the way, or he's going to see at least a tech lab starport building something. And you'll see no cloak though, so you'll know it's a pretty good chance that it's just going to be the Raven and not a Banshee. There's a couple of Hellions starting to come out here. And EJK, what sort of composition is he going to play for the rest of the game? Well, he's already taken his 5th and 4th gases. So I guess we're going to have that question answered for us, which is, it's going to be a mech style out of EJK here on Orbital Shipyard. That 3rd command center now dropping down into the location. As the first push across the map is going to get started here from Abaddon, just with 1 medevac, a handful of Marines, a couple tanks. We're looking to see what he can get done early on as Reaver comes back in and will harass a little bit more here. Now actually going to pick off 1 worker and now a 2nd as well. And this is just a little bit unfortunate timing really more than anything for Abaddon. Just moving out exactly when that Reaver comes in. It's going to get a Marine as well. This Reaver's done so much for EJK. Continuing to pick away here and we'll actually get 1 more SCV at least. Abaddon not too worried about this. I mean, it's not nice, but it's annoying. But he's going to try and get some damage done over here as he pushes in. Lots of Hellions though, and that's going to make it hard for this Marine heavy composition to really get a lot done. That Reaper does go down. His barracks going to be delayed slightly. As we're going to see the Banshee here going to do a lot to help take down these siege tanks, and Hellions in high numbers right now just going to push this back, no problem at all. Order turret comes down as well to help defensively, and well, EJK actually crushes this first army from his opponent. Generally, you can't really attack into mech like this, and the Hellions early game are just so good. They're so effective before that Marauder count really starts to build up. They're so good against the Marines without combat shields. Stim of their upgrades. We'll see another Marauder coming down the ramp from Abaddon, just going to continue building up here. I mean, he's on a good economy himself, so while that was a big loss for him in army, he should be able to build up, and generally what he's going to be looking for here is to be the more aggressive player around the map, the more mobile player around the map, so he should just be looking to try and delay his opponent from taking a 4th base, from moving out to try and kill him. And some SCVs repairing up the Hellions. As these Hellions get repaired up, they'll be set to go across the map here once again in just a few moments time. We see Marauder's tank all joining onto this, apparently they're very interested in this refinery. And so you have a Banshee over here which has picked up a couple of kills throughout the game. I think that's actually the Banshee which was picking off tanks and so on over on this side of the map. Just come across and just going to find a SCV or 2. And again, I mean, he had a tech lab starport, so why not try and build a Banshee, get a bit of harassment done. It's great defensively as well, and he's actually going to pick up 4 workers now. So Banshee getting some good damage here, and big stim force from Abaddon to try and turn this away. And we'll push it back slightly for a few moments. Just now we're going to see the medevac boosting forwards, and that Banshee is going to fall down. So we've got a couple of tanks up, we've got a bunch of Hellions, Cyclone, Viking and a medevac and a Raven too. Scan comes down and we see Abaddon is going to be looking to see what is going on. Notice tank sieges up on the ramp as the medevacs go and lift those up. Big drop loaded up here by Abaddon, who's going to try and well, he's going to try to obviously Doom drop his opponent, get some damage done here. The medevac's going to revenge each other, which is good for Abaddon. He scans there, he sees what the army isn't there, but he's just going to fall back. If I was him, I would have boosted underneath these medevacs because he's got nothing to lose really. He looks as though he's going to try and intercept them anyways, but now these medevacs from EJK will have boost, but one goes down. Marines will chase, and there's a few Marines coming in from the side as well. These medevacs are going to get into the dead air though. But I guess he can lift up, again he can just lift up, boost and like drop underneath them. He sees the main army is over here, so it's just 3 tanks from him right now. Only 1 medevac lost, 1 tank. Not the biggest of loss for EJK. As here we go, these medevac's going to try and come in, but a little bit too late. I mean, gave him time, gave EJK time for his own medevac boost to come back and become available once again. EJK going to look as though he wants to start moving out here, about 160 supply. His +1 going to finish up soon. He's got a 4th base ready to go, he's got a 5th base starting as he starts to work his way through these rocks. Again, Abaddon hasn't really found a way to really be aggressive so far this game, just continuing to move around with these units, but plenty of turrets in towards the natural, not really a lot for him to drop, you know, not a lot of space for him to drop. He could drop up here, but the army's going to be so nearby that's barely even worth it, I don't think. He's just going to end up fighting against I guess he would trade quite well. I mean, he would trade with I guess he would trade kind of he'd trade kind of okay actually. I mean, he'd be fighting with the opponent running up a ramp, so that's kind of nice, and he could get some tech structures too. As EJK realizes this army's coming over here, at the same time, big stim up the left side of the map. As this drop is just threatening again, he's not really committing, just threatening. As now this 4th command center is going to go down. The sensor tower is up, but not going to respond in time. These Marines are going to start targeting down the command center Once again, this big drop to the right-hand side just not doing very much just yet as EJK loses the 4th CC, has another one ready to go, so not the end of the world. And again, he's playing a gas-heavy composition, so he has plenty of spare minerals. So that army is sighted here by a couple of Hellions. EJK with a few medevacs of his own is going to drop those tanks into position. And, well, Abaddon's going to try and fight this, but so many siege up tanks already, and he just kind of throws away a bunch of army there. At the same time, can't really attack the left side. EJK very well positioned defensively to be able to defend against both of these attacks so far. And Abaddon, what he really has to do here, I suppose, more than anything, is just say, okay, well, you're defending quite well on these 3 bases. What I have to do is just deny your 4th base, while taking my own 4th base and just kind of going from there. There's not really much damage I can do on just the 3 bases. Again, there is a slight opening in this main base without turrets, which is something you could maybe try to abuse. As these medevacs going to start getting shot down by these Vikings. He's going to stay in here, start fighting against the Hellbats. Fight against this for as long as he can. At the same time, another big army going down the right side of the map. As the army of GJK will push this back, and he's going to be able to start taking his 4th command center. As Abaddon is, well, he might be about to run up here and in towards the main of his opponent. A couple of tanks will load up, and here he goes. He's just going to stim, so that his opponent has the least time to react. As we're going to see the boost and stim away, well, just the stim away, but at the same time, here we go. Abaddon moves forwards, and what will he go for? He'll split these units up, so he's going to get a few units in towards the 3rd base. He's going to send a few up to the high ground. Some tanks probably could have been targeted fire down there if he wanted to. Instead, he kind of waits a little bit as Vikings are cleaning up the medevacs. Starport currently on the way down. These units are going to come back down to the low ground, however, and that's not going to be too great as the Hellbats will be getting cleaned up. But none of the tanks killed at all here. Now Abaddon going once again to this left-hand side. He just keeps going back and forth, left to right, left to right. As again, he cleans up quite a lot. He trades against a lot of the Hellbats, which are just kind of not in the best of positions to begin with. Scans from EJK will see that this 4th base is fairly fresh here, so he knows he's not in too much trouble as these medevacs move forward. Going to start dropping on top of these tanks. Of course, this is medevac suicide. But is he going to have enough bio to clean up? A couple of Hellbats come forward to do a bit more tanking. It looks as though for the most part he will be able to clean this up no problem. So that gets cleaned up at the same time. No attack to the right, so Abaddon is losing a little bit of momentum here, losing a little bit of his army. As we have these tanks moving forwards and looking to see the sort of position they can get into. Going to siege up here once again, going to attack forwards. Only 2 tanks out right now. A lot of Vikings in the sky, but not many medevacs for them to kill. Hellbats are, Hellions are not Hellbats just yet. Scan will reveal next few units as our bio player continues to push this position. Bada get 2-2 upgrades, which will be an upgrade lead for him. As the Vikings come in, they pick off one of those medevacs. The other medevac may be in a bit of trouble here momentarily. As we see another stim. Very expensive stims these, when you don't have many medevacs when they're being killed off all game long. Very expensive stims indeed. This medevac going to go down as well. So Abaddon just continuing to lose his healer in this game. EJK doesn't really care. He's going to move a Lantern in position on the onto what is going to be his 5th base. So we see a concave set up for Abaddon. He's going to come in here. He's going to try and fight this. Vikings will land to help out and defend these last few tanks. And Abaddon will just about be able to hold on to this. As we're going to see now, actually, EJK will be in a little bit of trouble. He's boosting forwards, trying to maybe clean this up, but he won't be able to. So this push will still continue from Abaddon, but EJK has a higher army supply. He just has so many tanks actually left over towards this right side of the 3rd base, just expecting the next attack to come in at this position in the fairly near future. Banshees on the way out now do have cloaks, so that's going to be a bit of a nuisance to clean up from Abaddon, who stims into the right hand side and try and kill a couple of tanks before they get sieged up as well, but it doesn't matter, the ones that are already sieged up are more than enough here. As the Banshees in the sky are going to continue to pick off these siege tanks. The siege tank after siege tank will go down. Abaddon is finally pushed away from this position towards his opponent's 4th base. EJK has a 5th base starting to get set up here as well very soon. And this is looking like a good spot here for EJK to push forwards from. He's going to say, well, you know what, I traded fairly well right now. I'm going to be able to push in towards your 4th base. And that's exactly what he's doing, pushing right in towards this planetary fortress. A siege tank here to try and defend, but that's going to go down very quickly once them tanks get sieged up. Medevac's going to come in. They're going to try and drop on top of this. Vikings will clean out a couple of them before they finish dropping. There are Hellbats here, and of course Hellbats work fantastic against units which are being dropped on top of them. The Banshees as well, because there's just not quite enough anti-air in EJK. Just has a little bit too much right now. As these Banshees come in, they're going to take down this planetary fortress. And EJK, well, he has a few units, SCVs down here. I think he's trying to get those killed off or something because he doesn't want them anymore. Or I think he might have just misrallied them. That's also a possibility. Kind of a weird rally though, to rally them all the way down there instead of to his 4th base. As we're going to see the sensor tower coming up, and these Banshees, Vikings, Medivacs, tanks, hell battalions. This composition from EJK is a very powerful one, as we see the 3rd base floating away from Abaddon. He's mined out on his main natural, 3rd as well. Well, no. He has 2,000 minerals left on this 3rd base, so that was a bit of a mistake. Probably would have been better to fly the main away over here. It's not that much further away at all. As EJK sort of pushes forwards aggressively in some way with his sensor towers, and is very well set up onto this 5th base now as well as his 4th. So EJK is looking pretty great here. Scans will kill off a cloaked Banshee, picking off a work or two to the bottom right side. As Abaddon gets this 5th base set up. Still long distance mining. I guess these minerals aren't going to last very much longer. He's mining these ones right now, but I guess these ones won't last much longer either, so I guess it didn't really matter which base he moved in the end, as we don't see any more CCs. I mean, EJK has plenty of commands, and he's building another one now to planetary focus up this position, I would imagine. As we push down the map, we'll see tank's going to come and get dropped into position here. Scan will come down, a couple of Marines going to take some fire to begin with, a little bit of splash going onto the tank as well. We're just going to see this army moving forwards. I mean, the Banshees alone probably be able to take out the majority of this, because honestly there's just not enough Marines, and there's that CC having to be lifted and going to be pushed back. But all of this army is going to be in so much trouble here. There's Banshees kiting away. Even the Banshee, which is on like 3 health or something, 5 health, isn't going to be falling here. GG, well played. And there's a Baton taps out just before. Good to see the sub notifications are back as well. The sub, they kind of died for the last couple of days. They weren't working, but now they are, which is good. Good. Alright. To the top left corner of the map, we're going to have from Madcorps Gaming. It's going to be our pink Protoss player. It is going to be Lind. Coming in to try and tie up this series. Again, it would be wonderful to see another series which isn't an all-kill. Because we saw so many all-kills in the first 2 days of the qualifiers. It'd be nice to see some closer matches. Really looking forward to maybe seeing some more of these. So, here we go. As we get set into this, this is Lind in the top left, and then of course in the bottom right is going to be our Red Terran player. It's going to be from Gravity. It's going to be EJK. So this map's pretty good for Protoss as well, because generally in TVP right now, Protoss is the faster expander in the game. You know, they expand more quickly, and so on and so on. So generally, this map's kind of favoured for us a little bit because they get that gold base a little bit sooner, and they can be very greedy taking the gold and defending it with the photon overcharges, etc. And you know, it's a fairly easy map to defend your bases on, actually. And so Terrans do sometimes struggle against this, as we just see a straight up 2 extra gates being built on this side of the map. And EJK is going to scout with this SCV, but Lind really changing things up here. He's going to have a lot of adepts coming out very early on to pressure with, and to see what he can get done. That Cybercore is about to finish up. The 2 extra gates will be coming up here as well, and we'll see that warp gate starting, and the first adept starting up as well. EJK comes in and he doesn't see any Nexus, so immediately he's going to be a little bit concerned, and he opts. It's kind of fortunate for him because he's opted to actually go for kind of a more aggressive opening himself, which is obviously not going to be a fast expansion. Of course, if he's not on a fast expansion, then what we're seeing is you know, aggression, aka more units, and so EJK should be fairly well prepared against this. Lind hasn't actually scouted his opponent's base yet, so he's just kind of hoping right now that it's going to be an expansion-based play, as EJK picks up some gold minerals once again, as the Mothership Core and First Adept starts to come across to the other side of the map. But again, attacking into one base Terran isn't going to work out so great. There's a Robo Facility coming down proxied as well, so maybe he tries to Immortal Bust as a follow-up to this. Either way, he's going to have something, because I imagine EJK's composition here is... Well, he's making a Widowman, he's got a Starport coming in as well. I wonder what he'd opts to go for. We're going to see the pylons coming in at the front, so obviously going to see the pylons being used as a way to... Photon Overcharge being used as a way to kind of break through the high ground here, so that Widowman is coming forwards as well. He needs to be careful with these Adepts, doesn't want to lose them, as these pylons are almost ready to go. I wonder if he just tries to bust down the bunker. If he busts down the bunker, then he could come up here. Do them pylons reach the photon overcharges? Reach the SCVs? I don't think so. Moves away from that, for the most part there, from them, from that Widow Mine, as these pylons Getting a bit of damage done here initially. Bunker will start to rebuild almost immediately here. Actually has to be cancelled once again though. Wait for that phone overcharge to dissipate. He runs out of energy here as well, as 3 more adepts are going to be added on. And they'll be here very shortly, but initially not really too much being done, I suppose, as he kills a bunker and that's about it. So Lynn doesn't get off to the best start here, as we see the bunker is going to be cancelled again. So I mean, if he keeps cancelling this bunker, that's one thing, but how long can he keep cancelling it for? There's a couple more depths. At least if they can maybe get up this ramp right now, they can get through before the bunker's ready to go. Widowmine will get targeted down here, pulling away now from that siege tank, but Scan will kill the Marine, kill the Observer, as the supply depot at the frontier nearly goes down, but not quite, and that will be repaired up. So good hold by EJK. Of course, neither player on an expansion just yet. Immortal's starting to come in right now from Lind, but EJK is going to be setting up in such a way that I mean, EJK is setting up in such a way he's kind of on. You know, he's getting a Liberator out. He's actually going to go harass with this Liberator, and there's nothing to really defend for Lynn back at home against a Liberator. So there was 2 ways he was going to do that. He was either going to, you know, defend with the Liberator, or he was going to attack with it. And right now we see this Immortal coming in. A little bit of miscontrol here to begin with, as that Immortal takes a lot of damage on that tank, and some lost damage time means that the bunker stays alive. As he pulls away a little bit now. Engineering Bay currently blocking the expansion from Lind, who is about to have a Liberator in his mineral line as well. And again, he just doesn't have anything to really deal with this. He can warp in back at home, but 3 Stalkers aren't enough, so he's going to lose a lot of mining time right here. Warp Prism on the way. He could elevate it up in towards the main base, or drop the mortals onto these tanks and kill them off. As, I just want to be losing the tanks like this though, or losing the mortals like this, taking damage like this. Get away! Oh my god, so much free damage going on to the Immortals. It's been a bit of a disaster. He's going to target the Immortal, not quite enough to kill it though. As that Liberator kills 4 workers, and now the probes, what are they going to do? He warps in a Sentry and a Stalker? I mean, yeah, Lind is not looking great here, because he needs to find a way to fight against this this Liberator. And again, 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry is not going to be the answer just yet. And of course he couldn't mine from the low ground for a while, because he hasn't started a Nexus yet. And DJK starts up a medevac, and we've got 3 tanks behind this wall as well. We're going to see one of them lifting up right now. We've got a mule actually coming in and dropping something. We actually see the Liberator has gone down, so that's something for Lind. At least he can start a mine again, but 17 workers to 25 SCVs. EJK also has a command center ready to go. As soon as he breaks out of his main, he'll be able to get that sorted out. As he drops down here, that Immortal gets annihilated because it just had so little health on it from before. And Lynn just keeps making a few mistakes here and there, which is kind of going to add up to defeat in the long run, I feel, because he can't be aggressive with his Immortals anymore because he lost so much, he took so much damage on them already. Scan comes in, will clean out an Observer. These Stalkers moving around looking to see what they can maybe get up to. We actually see a medevac and a tank, Marines and a tank load up into the medevac. Going to head across the map with this. Look to see what they can achieve. I mean, obviously if he gets to the other side of the map, then it's going to force warp-ins at home. He doesn't have to worry so much about whatever is over here. As these Stalkers coming in, going to try and get whatever he can here. Liberator going to start chasing that warp prism, but Stalkers will be able to defend it. And I'm going to see a few Marines, a few tanks moving down to the low ground. And just going to really secure his natural expansion. Once his natural expansion is secure like this, it's going to be a very, very difficult game for Lind, who is still not got a Nexus back at home. Has the minerals now to expand, but will be a long time until he gets that up. Can try and harass with the War Prism, although the Liberator is going to find it here. Kind of mutual agreement between these to kind of just both turn away. Turns out the War Prism lied though, and well, the Cyclone goes down pretty quickly, so this is nice. He's going to start getting some harassment done. This is stuff he needs to do. He needs to find little bits of damage like this. The more damage like this he gets done, the better it's going to be for him, as the Siege Tank will start to fire. And just losing the shields on the Immortals. So good control now from Lind. That is much better execution than what we've seen from him so far. As Liberator is still on this side of the map, they're going to actually see no natural expansion, so EJK is going to be feeling very happy with his position in this game. So many siege tanks set up here, and I mean, all he has to do is secure his natural, keep it safe, and there's nothing really which Lind can do if this is what's happening. So we're going to see these Immortals drop down again, but the barrier cooldown is not up, and so he takes a lot of damage and just has to lift up immediately and pull away. Another Stalker gets added on here, and we're going to see Lind is going to be hoping to push forwards into this natural perhaps in a few moments' time. Good. Sorry, he actually took a gold base. Wow, I'm so blind. I saw this on the minimap but didn't actually see. You know when you just kind of tunnel vision a little bit, kind of just expect him to take this base, but he actually takes the gold, which is kind of a smart idea because it's definitely one way back into this. If he gets some gold minerals mining, it will help him out a lot with his income, so this is nice. And I guess EJK hasn't seen the gold either, no, so he's going to go check that now with a Marine. Yeah, see a few Marines moving out here. That's a medevac which might go down, a few Marines at least. Medevac does get away, but that was nice. As Scan comes down, he actually sees that gold base, so he knows he's up against a gold base now. 43 SCVs still to 28 probes. However, 43 SCVs are only going to be useful for so long because this main base is starting to mine out, and as the main base mines out, he's going to need to hold another base. So that third is something which he has to start pushing towards very soon. That being said, I mean, he's got the command center already, so it should be a fairly easy push forwards from EJK. As we do see a Liberator going to come up the right-hand side of the map and look to see, again, if he can get into a position to pick off some more workers out and about and get some more damage done for our Horus player. Bunker will go down over here in the main base. So again, just slowly picking away at whatever he can with these Immortals. Again, free damage is free damage as long as he doesn't lose the Warp Prism and the Immortals. It's good to get this damage done. As we see, this Liberator is about to hit the main base. Of course, the main base of Lind also mine now. And the incomes, you can see, are fairly similar. Lind's dropping a little bit now as he transfers some workers down to the low ground long distance mine, but the incomes for the most part should be fairly similar once until EJK gets access to this gold base. So so yeah, as we see a few Stalkers here, a few Adepts as well. Next is at the natural. Is about to finish up here. Got a couple of Stalkers on the way up, and they're going to move behind the mineral line right now. Warp Prism back in towards the main base here. Again, just looking to see what he can do with this, the kind of barriers on the Immortals. Liberator will begin to chase, but shouldn't be able to kill the Stalkers on nearby, and EJK knows this as well, so pulls away. Very weird passive game at this point in time. I mean, we actually end up seeing Lind go up to 3 bases, so this is not over at all. So 3 bases coming up. There's a Fusion Core down, and there is Liberated Advanced Ballistics coming down as well. So it's kind of not so exciting to see a Fusion Core in the production tab anymore, because Advanced Ballistics is such a normal thing to go for. So many tanks here. ZJK is going to obviously be happy to take this fight. Lind's the one who's really kind of starting this fight, but as Immortals go down again, the health he's lost on them throughout this game is going to make this a bit more difficult for him. It's going to make it difficult for him to use those effectively. As you now do see Command Center going into position on that gold base. Scan reveals that kind of a weird scan, because he's actually got a Liberator over here, so I don't know what he's really scanning for. As the Stalker's taking a little bit of damage. And we're going to see our Pros player once again just trying to get a little bit done here or there. These Liberators are really being a pain in the ass for Lind right now. They're the units which are really stopping him more than anything else. As we have the third base landed here for EJK. We're going to see some mules perhaps soon, and so on. So, 12-minute game. And it's been a crazy 12 minutes, not your standard TVP by a long, long stretch of the imagination. As we're going to see Lane probably going to have to back off here. I mean, obviously the problem is that his Robo facility is up here, so if he loses this Robo, he's going to lose his, right now, what is his only tech in the game. And of course he will continue to build up. He's actually going to warp in and try and fight this. I don't think he can fight against this many tanks though at all. So he's going to charge in with the Zealots. He'll lift up some of these units with his Warp Prism. And he is just going to get away. So he'll lose these gates, he'll lose this Robo. He's going to keep on trying to drop the Warp Prism, going to come in towards the natural. He's got an Immortal here, which is going to have its barrier on cooldown though, right? He's going to lose the Warp Prism as well, so Lind, another big loss for him now. As he's going to try and target down the tank, he will get it. The Immortal falls, and again, that is a big, big, big loss. As the Robo and the Gateway is getting cleaned up over here. Lind has double Forger, but not using it just yet. Rebuilding that Robo, making a Void Ray right now. And we've got a few Stalkers at the natural, but Lind is in a lot of trouble, and I think EJK might be making a move out here which will send Gravity into a 2-0 advantage at this point in time in the SC2ITL qualifiers. Moving forwards here. Let's see what's going to happen. You're going to see the Liberators sieging up, and well, Archons at the front are not going to be enough at all. EJK just has a little bit too much, and Lind is going to have to tap out of this one. And EJK, so far being the hero which Gravity needs. So far. Twilight goes down, a couple of forges go down as well. We see Hellions hunting down these probes over to the left-hand side. And well, this Nexus is going to fall. This is it. Game 2 goes the way of Gravity. We're just waiting for Lind to tap on out of this. But against this number of tanks, he's just not going to find an answer. I haven't even seen the Void Ray. The Void Ray doesn't even want to take part in this. He's had enough. Had enough before it even begins. He just was there to clean up some Liberator. And for your sub today, as we jump into game number 3 of Gravity versus Madcorps. So again, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. To answer your question, Holden, yes, we did hit the 40 sub goal yesterday, so I will be arranging a sub war with another streamer at some point in the near future. So that'll be coming up, and kind of still thinking of a sub goal for 50 subs. Obviously at 50 we get some new sub emotes. If you've got any ideas for good sub emotes, that'd be appreciated as well. If anyone's got some good ideas, would love to hear them. But yeah, if you've got any good ideas for sub emotes, let me know. And also a sub goal for 50 in general, something we could do at 50 subs, as well as getting new emotes, would be pretty sweet as well. So let me know your ideas, guys. For now, let's jump into this game to the top right of this PvT on Sentinel Protocol. Cross spawns, which makes this a bit more normal than the other positions, which is nice. We're going to have our blue Protoss player is going to be Rama. And to the bottom left, EJK is going to be the Teal Terran player from Gravity. Alright. Who's going to pay the 2k euro? It's all sponsored. Thanks to True Esports, aka Team Extreme Supremacy, and a special sponsor who does not wish to be named. And the entry fees for the league as well also help support the prize pool if the sponsorships don't cover it, but we're covered this season. So yeah, the 2,000 euros also coming from sponsors, etc. SCV gonna be coming to check things out, see what's going on. It's been a reactor expand, oh sorry, it's been a 2 reactor expand. Okay, so actually I can talk a bit about this because actually EJK is someone I casted a bit in the DreamHack qualifier the other night. So what he did here was he actually went 2 racks expand, gasless, and then took the double gas. And what it allows him to do is it allows him to get a lot of Marines early in the game. And with a lot of Marines early in the game, he's going to be able to really kind of be super safe defensively against early Adepts, Oracles, and whatever else. And as we see this Adept coming forwards, you'll see that there's quite a lot of Marines up here, so Marines are going to respond to the Adept. There's going to be a wall off, and that Adept will have to cancel its shade. But so, obviously the double gas comes down after, and EJK will start going into double factory now, because EJK is a sword player who will play this mech sort of style here in TVP, and for someone like Relma who may not play against EJK very often, if he hasn't played against this style very frequently, he might run into some trouble. Now, what we saw in EJK versus McCannon was McCannon went to he went into kind of like fast Tempest, etc., which is very good against this. But McCannon's mistakes in the games he lost was that he would win the first fight, and then he would overextend with the Tempests and whatever, but he wouldn't have enough to support on the ground, which is what made it an overextension. So what he needed was a sorry, stop following this mothership, of course, making me dizzy. What he needed was just a little bit more ground support and something to kind of take out the Cyclones, which EJK goes into later in the game to help him deal with the Tempest players. We do see 4 workers, 5 workers killed in this main base. The Adepts are going to cancel their shades, and so Marines are going to be able to pick them up. But 6 workers killed, actually, not sure how they got in there. Just a little bit of a mistake by EJK, I think, letting them slip through the walls. So 6 workers killed, and a full scout by Relma as well. We'll see these 2 factories as early on here. This tank production will start up right now. You can see a scan coming in towards the main, the natural here, trying to get some info on Relma. Relma going to expand quickly, which is generally a very strong thing to do against this sort of composition from EJK as well, because EJK's composition is very defensive based and is very much reliant on, you know, building up a high tank count before he gets into a later point of the game. So it's going to be a while until he can realistically move across the map and try and get some damage done. EJK takes a bit more damage from this Oracle, but Relma forgets about it, and he will lose this here. So while the first Oracle gets 6 more workers on top of the 6 workers lost earlier and puts Relma into a good position in terms of the economy, he will lose the Oracle, so loses a bit of his map control here, although there's a second Oracle ready to go. But still, never good to lose an Oracle for no real reason, you know? As you see, this Oracle coming back in towards the natural. Marine's not nearby, and this is a bit of a mistake by EJK, who is right now just falling apart to the different parts of harassment coming in from his opponent. And it's kind of sad because, I mean, if this keeps up, EJK is just never going to really have a chance with the economy in this game. He's just going to kind of die off quickly, which would be sad, because it's actually kind of cool to see these games play out and to see the different, you know, see the different kind of ways in which the composition plays out, and to see different compositions being used in the matchup as well is always really interesting, and to see how Relma would counter it as well. But right now, again, EJK is just a little bit further behind than he should be because of all the damage he's taken. There's been, what, I think 15 workers? 17 in total workers that he's lost throughout the game. So 17 workers lost is a big, big difference. I mean, that's the difference between being on 50 SCVs right now and 33, which is not quite half the economy, but it's a big chunk of it. You can see the income difference right now, 1.9k to 1.2k minerals per minute. And with the lack of economy, EJK will struggle to afford a third command center in the near future. Has to kind of stick on 2 base a bit longer, and of course that even, you know, that will then hurt him a little bit more, and just goes on and on. So not a great spot right now for EJK, but there's definitely ways back into this, you know, especially with the composition he's playing at this kind of heavy tank count. If Relma gets a little bit overconfident and attacks straight into these siege tanks, maybe that's the sort of momentum change which EJK can take and make something happen with. So Chrono continue to come out here on this third Nexus. Doesn't really feel like he needs many more workers because he's currently completely saturated and oversaturated on the third. I guess he's actually at the perfect worker count now. Optimally saturated on main and natural, and as he starts up his gases on the third base, he'll hit optimal saturation here as well, and be full gas mining as well. So that's all good. Macfield Accelerator coming in not quite early in this game for EJK, so obviously he's going to go in towards the Cyclones as a response to, I imagine, as a response to these Phoenix, which are still currently flying around the map. So that's a nice way for him to kind of start dealing with those. We're going to see a medevac final location here without any real pylons just yet for phone overcharge, and of course the Phoenix can come in. They can kill the medevac, and they can pick up a few of these Marines and clean those out as well. A few Adepts, a couple of sentries still over towards his third base. Actually very Adept heavy composition. And that's sort of what he needs. He needs something to deal with the Cyclones, because the Cyclones are very mobile, so something along the lines of Adepts which can shade on top of them, or Blink Stalkers which can blink on top of them, or Charge Zealots just to close this. Basically any upgrade off the Twilight Council, you need that, and a good amount of the unit that goes with the upgrade to be able to deal with the Cyclones. Just to make sure that they don't just kite you away forever and ever and ever. So, well, I'm just going to be sending a Hallucinated Phoenix onto them now, just have a bit of a scatter around. Still 2 base play here out of EJK. The army supply is 20 supply in favour of Relma. Upgrades are currently non-existent on either side as we see a fleet beacon on the way. So Relma beginning a late game switch up here as these Cyclones do begin to get some damage done. But you can see now the Adepts are ready to jump on top of these, and that's when the Cyclones become very weak. These Resonating Glaives going to come into play as the Cyclones will get a bit of damage from them, but now here come the Phoenix, which will also begin to lift these up, as again EJK just hasn't had very much in this game at all. He took a lot of damage early on, and that's going to be GG right there. Relma bringing Madcorps on, so that'll be what we're doing tonight, I think, after we get the website up to date as well. Make sure everything's good again. SC2Improved.net, your place to head on over to keep up to date with everything SC2I Team League and more. To the bottom right, we're going to have our Blue Pros player from Madcorps. It's going to be Relma. As we have to the top left, from Gravity, the red Zerg player, it is going to be Wacker. So, ZVP, as we get set up into this. Cross spawns as well, which is, I think, generally going to be preferred here for our Zerg player. Our pros player, I mean, it's kind of one way or the other. I mean, the pros player can also kind of find himself in a tough spot against aggression on this map as well. But cross spawns are going to be good for any player who wants to go towards the macro game. We didn't have Dusk Towers left in the map, but whether Waka was saving that for later, just wanted to get this one out of the way now when he's playing against a Protoss or what. So yeah, and he always, I mean, it's not really commented on too much, we mentioned it now and then, but obviously picking maps and leaving maps for the other players in your team and so on is always something which is very important to keep in mind when playing this sort of all-kill format, because if you can keep good maps for your team, and you know, if you can kind of use the maps up wisely and kind of say, right, I'm going to use up all the Zerg maps now, or the better Zerg maps now because we don't have many Zergs, then, you know, our remaining players are going to have a better chance playing on maps that are better for their races and stuff like that. So, we jump into this. Waka isn't a Diamond player, he is a GM player. He is just in Diamond League on his main account right now. So, he's not a Diamond player. This is GM versus GM level stuff. Waka usually quite high up on the EU ladder as he drops down a hatchery at the third base. And gets going here with this hatch pool hatch opening. No gas just yet. It's just macro-based play out of him so far. There's a Nexus first out of Relma, who's going to get 2 gates finishing up here. Was it Nexus first? I don't know, I think so actually. It might not have been, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at the replay. No, it's not Nexus. It's not Nexus first, it's just a gate expand, sorry, my time is a little bit off there. I was confused by the second gateway. The second gateway is something you quite often see off of a Nexus first going into the 2 gateways, and so on. So these 2 stalkers are going to begin moving across the map, and look to see what they can get up to here at the start of game number 4. Gravity win this, they're on match point and looking for a date with Euronics Gaming in the winners match. Madcorps win this, and well, we're all tied up, and it's going to be first to 7. Well, I mean, it's always first to 7, but it will be just first to 7, and both teams will have a fairly equal chance at it. And so far, Relma has taken down EJK, who did win the first 2 maps with Gravity. As you see, these stalkers coming in, force a cancel on the creep tumor, nothing too major, and these 2 stalkers will just pull away right now. Creep tumor will be able to push forwards again here in a moment. Maybe it was actually a kill on the creep tumor or cancel, and it was a fresh creep tumor, so either way is quite nice, as these stalkers are not going to be able to get the creep tumor this time. Queen's fending this off for now. A few Lings coming in as well to help defend this. This is actually a really nice play out of Relma, this 4 stalker Mothership Core play. It's very good against no Ling speed, or no gas openings I should say, which of course does mean no Ling speed, because it means you can, or pretty much nothing is going to kill these stalkers in the Mothership Core until that Ling speed is ready. So you've got a lot of time to pick away at units here, pick away at Queens, pick away at Zerglings, and just sort of go from there. Some damage being done, and we're going to see the Queen starting to target this Mothership Core, and actually quite a lot of Lings going down, so Waka's starting to kind of pay the price for being fairly greedy and skipping the gas for so long in this game. But that being said, as Queens keep coming up and the Stalkers are starting to take some damage, and the Mothership Core and the Stalkers just being pushed back. Third base going to come down though for Ramos, so this has just been a way for him to establish some early map control while taking a third base on the behind this. So yeah, a couple more gates being added on, mostly to wall off here for Relma. He's actually going up to 5 gates, which is very suggestive of aggression. He's also going to go into the double Stargate now as well. So a couple of Stargates coming down, and Waka also does see everything that's going on. He sees the third Nexus is on the way up, and yeah. So a few Stalkers, a few Sentries here for now. Waka is up onto 3 hatcheries, and he's up on 60 drones. Continue drone here as well, which is going to be brilliant against the Stargate play. Generally against Stargate play, what you're looking to do as a Zerg player is just keep on droning. Obviously add a couple of spores, pull your Overlords back, get your Queens next to them spores, and there's a lot of, you know, there's that kind of a checklist of things you go through, that you run through in your head to kind of make sure you're not going to take too much damage. But the main thing is that you're going to drone, and because there's not really a lot of times that are going to come in off of Stargate play, there's not going to be a lot of aggressive times you have to prepare for with units. And you want to have drone up enough so that when you do lose some drones inevitably to the Phoenix or the Oracle, you're going to be able to kind of already, you know, it's going to be okay. You know, you're going to have enough drones anyway, even after losing some. That's kind of the general idea. As you see, the Phoenix doing a bit of a dance in the main base right now. Waka has dropped down a Spire and is looking to go in towards potentially Mutalisk play off the back of these Roaches, which of course would not be too great considering the early Phoenix and early Stargates we see right now. Waka's vision did not lead him to them Phoenix, did not lead him to them Stargates, so he's completely blind right here. And if he commits into them Mutalisks before he figures out what's going on, it's going to be a big, big waste of money. And, well, let's see what happens. Twilight and a Forge will be dropped down here in the main base. And we're going to have Nexus just crowder boosting away here on the third. Phoenix is going to continue to, well, going to begin to move out onto the map. We'll begin to move out on the map now. Waka hasn't committed to the Mutas just yet. Does he see the Phoenix in time before he has to make the Mutas? He's making a Hydroden too, so he might just have the Spire as a backup plan at some point. Now he sees the Phoenix, so now he's going to know definitely not to make Mutalisks as he sends some Roaches across the map. He has a lot of gas. He could make some Ravages here while going into a Lurker Den back at home. As I don't think that Phoenix really killed anything. One of the Phoenix did fall though, so that's nice. And they will find a couple of Overlords here or there as let's ramp these Roaches. We'll see what they can get done. Mothership Core will be fairly nearby to drop some forward overcharges, but these Sentries in a little bit of trouble as one of them gets targeted. The forward overcharge actually getting targeted down here. The Pylon getting targeted down there. Another Pylon nearby though, so not too much being done. These Phoenix not getting too much either though. Only 3 workers killed so far. You'll see the Hydras then coming out, and 15 Hydras being made at a time. That's the kind of benefit from Waka of having banked up that money from the Spire. He's going to be able to make all his Hydras at the same time, so they can't just be lifted up one at a time and picked off by these Phoenix. As Waka will lose a lot of Overlords out on the map again. He didn't see this Stargate early, so the Phoenix are getting a lot of damage done. But I think Waka's got very strong timing, possibly here with Roach Hydra, and perhaps Roach Hydra Ravager, if he wants to move across the map in the next couple of moments. If he's just going to come along the top side and in towards the main base. I'm going to see this couple of drones getting lifted up here. And 3 drones cut off once again. So I can just continue to take a little bit of damage here or there. Temple Archives gets dropped down by Relma. Welmer. I can't say his name properly. My R's and W's are losing it tonight. But we'll put him in play as well. So a few Zealots going to come in towards the third or so. As these Phoenix are moving across the map. Need to be careful, because guess what? Hydras are here, and they're going to intercept all of these Phoenix. They stop right above the Hydras, and no, Relma just loses every single Phoenix apart from 1. That's a huge loss. He just lost 7 or so Phoenix, which are generally so useful throughout the game. And even in an engagement, these Phoenix, you can imagine, they come in and they lift up 9 Hydras. It's like half the Hydras suddenly gone, not part of the fight anymore. Pylons on the low ground will be killed off here. Behind this, I'd like to see Waka going into the Lurker Den, because the Lurkers are generally going to be the strong follow-up to this sort of composition. It's going to be the backbone to your army as the game goes later and later. We're going to see actually Relma going to come down the ramp, and he's going to try and fight against this. Now realizing that wasn't such a great idea, he's going to at least lose a few Zealots. He gets away from the Archon though, but he turns around. It will go down very quickly afterwards. Phone Overcharge getting a lot of damage done, combined with the Time Warp here just before that Mothership Core fell to the Hydralisks. But the Mothership Cores, Phone Overcharges are going to wear thin, and we're going to see these Hydras just push brute forcing their way up here. And there's no splash damage right now. It's going to be so different with the Phoenix. To take away half these Hydras is a much better fight all of a sudden for Relma. Unfortunately, that's not the way this is going to go. And Waka's going to clean up everything, and he's going to put Gravity onto match point. Relma taps out of the game. Not too impressed with his performance here, I don't think. Losing those bottom left corner of the map from Madcorps. We're going to have our pink Zerg player. It is going to be the final play out of Madcorps. It's Soul Spirit. And so you have a red Zerg player from Gravity. It's going to be Waka. ZVZ here on Dusk Towers. See what's going to happen. See what we're going to get up to. The start of this game. As Waka opens with a gas pool, but kind of a more defensive gas pool than an aggressive gas pool. This is the sort of gas pool timing you go for if you're trying to play defensively against a 13-12 or 14-14 or something like that. So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to see this drone moving backwards and forwards here, going to pop down a hatchery. On the natural, it's just got this overlord moving across the map from Waka. So both players kind of just expanding here, and again it's just a slightly slower expansion from Waka. He'll just be set up a little bit slower in this game. Soul Spirit actually, sorry, it's the wrong way around. I'm completely silly. Soul Spirit's the one with the yes, sorry, no, I was right. Waka has the faster expansion, which means that Soul Spirit has the faster gas. Sorry, again, a little bit confused in my own head there. So Soul Spirit going to drop down a hatchery on the natural as well. As we see that Zergner speed on the way up. And we just see overlords coming across the map from both players right now. Again, just getting into positions to scout throughout the game. Soul Spirit going to go for Zergner speed into a Bane nest straight away, and I imagine Waka's going to go into a Bane nest pretty soon after he reaches 50 gas as well. It would be kind of weird to see either of them kind of go for anything different or so here. As we see just a couple of lings moving across the map from Soul Spirit, looking to see what he can get up to as he heads towards the upper right side of the map. And Waka, of course, the same idea to the bottom left side of the map as these lings head across and look to see what's going to be happening. Drone going to come back and start mining on this gas as the Bane nest drops down here for Waka. As Soul Spirit also has his Bane nest about to finish up, so both players in fairly similar scenarios right here. Again, just Soul Spirit has that little bit of extra gas from the way in which he opened at the start of this game. Both players actually making some Zerglings right now as well. Waka already with a few coming across the map, which is kind of forcing the response out of Soul Spirit. Defensive Banelings coming down. And Waka making a few more to actually continue with this aggression early on at least. We'll just drone up behind this and slowly but surely, and again, I mean, it's kind of okay. He's not going to really lose out on anything here, although his lightning speed is a little bit later than his opponent, so he's going to be caught a little bit off guard. It's actually 10 seconds away from finishing, so he's going to lose quite a few lings here initially. As these lings, which he kind of forced his opponent to make, are going to start claiming these lings which he has. So there goes, finishes up there, and will be able to just come in to the right-hand side, back to his natural. And he's already got a lot of Bane setting up defensively, so he shouldn't run into too many troubles here. The lane counts, I think, slightly favour Soul Spirit in this position as we see him. He's going to move forwards and start trading against this. We're going to have a Bane lane looking to move forwards as well. As we're going to see... Whoa, big connections. In fact, there's all of Waka's Banelings. There's a good chunk of them. Waka's Banelings taking some serious damage there. He needs to target fire down this last Baneling with the Queen. Okay, it goes off now. He will have enough to defend, but that was a little bit scary. Again, losing his Banelings very inefficiently there. There's more Banes coming in for his opponent. Waka's going to push this back for now, though, and if he can kill off these Banes as they morph in, well, then he doesn't really have to worry about getting Banes in of his own. Oh, he's going to risk it, and he's going to get it, as he will continue to fight, and he'll continue to push this back. Waka actually swings into a supply lead here in army, and actually continues to make more lings as we see some drones and Banes on the way from Soul Spirit. Still droning, actually, so very confident that he's actually already got enough to hold off against this. Waka will continue to fight here at the front. It's going to be fairly even trade. Of course, Soul Spirit's just going to try and pull back towards his Banelings. Waka morphs in a bunch of Banes over here. Soul Spirit does see a few more of them lings coming into the left hand side, so he has to be careful. There's a lot of Banelings Waka has, 7 coming in. And of course, it just takes one good Baneling connection to completely swing this into his favour. And this would be the end of the game for Madcorps, end of the series, end of their qualifier run for Madcorps. If they were to lose right now, if he were to lose just a couple of bad Baneling connections, these Banelings are just about to finish morphing in. Waka, could have claimed a lot of them there, I think, for very few Banelings. Just wasn't paying attention. I think he could have got like 6 for 2, as he will connect to the mineral line though and get 7 workers. And that's going to take away all of the workers which Soul Spirit has been making in the last few moments of the game. And Waka will start up a few more drones back at home, and will just move back seemingly defensively right now as well. So Waka falls back. Spine coming up as well. A few Banes will come in for him, and it looks as though Soul Spirit will get aggressive once again. So this back and forth Ling Bane action continues here on Dusk Towers. There's a couple of Banes at the front are maybe going to be in a little bit of trouble, but Waka is able to keep them alive, force them Zerglings away. These Banelings here towards the front going to start moving forwards. Big Baneling connection to begin with, but big hits from Waka, taking down a good chunk of these. Again, trading very efficiently. He needs to just target that Baneling with the Queens, which he does, and now he can realistically fight against these Zerglings. No problem at all. He holds a 4 worker lead, and still just cranking out the Zerglings here Waka continuing to look good here. In game number 5, the game which would send his team through to the qualifying round where they would play against Euronics to try and qualify for the first division of the SC2ITL Season 6. That's going to be a brand new, fresh best of 7 starting up for you guys after this series right here. Lings just coming forward, so we're going to see a couple of Banelings getting cleaned out. The Banelings don't really achieve anything here. Big connections by Waka. Oh no, Soul Spirit tries to sneak into the main, gets into the third and sees there's nothing there. But he lost so many of them Lings trying to sneak in. Wasn't expecting that many Banelings or the Banelings to be in that sort of position at all. And now this is Waka just continuing to take advantages. 5 workers ahead in army still. 2 spines on the low ground, queens on the low ground. Surely there's no way. Soul Spirit needs connections like what Waka just got. So this is going to be difficult here. There's 3 Banes getting ready to go. But I mean, there's already 4 Banes up for Waka, so he's already got the numbers advantage. Queens going forward, they're going to snipe down the first 2 Banes here. 2 Banes for 4 though. Good trade for Soul Spirit. Unfortunately, it's not good enough because again, he needs more than just slightly efficient Baneling trades. He needs to take a good chunk of these Zerglings down to really be able to make this happen. As Ling numbers are still good for Soul Spirit, but again, them 2 Spine Claws, the 2 Queens, and again, slowly Waka just building up drones behind this. Waka's eventually just going to have so much economy that he will just overrun his opponent as long as he just trades half, fairly effectively, fairly efficiently. A few Lings at the front, Queens. So Banes actually go down on just a few, but Zerglings is, oh, again, nearly a big connection on the Banelings out of Waka. As you see a big round of drones coming up from Soul Spirit as he's going to try and catch up, but Waka's being smart, just adding a few Lings, a few drones, a few Lings, a few drones, not overcommitting to either or, and just means that slowly his work count builds up and stays in an advantage, stays in the lead. Now he's going to start with Lair as well. He's obviously got very good overlord positioning around the entirety of the map, and with this sort of nice overlord positioning, he's always going to know when more and more units are going to be coming out from his opponent. He's going to know when he's going to be able to, he's going to know when he has to kind of morph in more Lings, or whether he can just go in and tech and get away without any further Banelings. We see a Spine on the way on the lone ground, so 3rd Spine. It looks as though he's just going to go in towards Mutalisks here. And Mutalisks, when you've already got your 3rd base set up, this is looking great for him. The Roachron's on the way down for Soul Spirit, but these Mutals are going to hit so much sooner than any kind of Roach play. And Waka's going to start picking off this again. So many Overlords on the map for his opponent as well. So there's a bunch of Overlords to kill. I think that's about 6 or so. So 6 Overlords to kill, and then of course he's going to find openings to pick off a couple of drones, a couple of Lings, whatever else he can find around the base of his opponent. 2 more Spine Swords. So Waka's really cautious here, making sure he's just not going to die at all to the to any kind of Roach push or anything like that. But again, his opponent just isn't. He knows there's no 3rd base, right? So because he knows there's no 3rd base, he really is kind of just making completely sure that he's not going to die to anything. He morphs into an Overseer, so he's going to be able to get a Scout. Sees a drone coming down there, and now sees some more Zerglings. As he comes in towards the main, he's going to see, well, a pretty standard setup. You won't see it immediately in this main base, but if he gets towards the natural, which he should with this Overseer, okay, he's going to actually turn away to keep the Overseer alive, which is also viable. I guess he might have died before he scouted anything, so it's just kind of the safer way to go about things. He can pretty much assume what's going on, though. He sees no 4th gas, so he knows it's just Roach play, and again, he's very well set up. He adds a Spore Crawler now as well, just in case, I guess, of Burrow. Because again, he's kind of feeling as though maybe he doesn't realize quite how far ahead he is, so he doesn't realize that he's kind of he's just playing super safe, I guess. Maybe he knows how far ahead he is, and he's actually just saying, well, why would I throw this away at all if I don't have to? So just making sure he's safe. And we do see an Overseer fall for Soul Spirit. Just going to bring him near to a supply cap as Waka's Spire finishes up right in the mineral line. Waka's Spire finishes up, he's going to be able to start 8 Mutalisks and drops a Roachron and Evo Chamber as his follow-up here. So just the first Mutalisks, and then he's going to go into Roaches and upgrades of missile upgrades of his own. The idea being here just to get some damage and get an advantage with the Mutas before he then goes in towards the Roaches of his own and use that advantage to kind of be, obviously, in a lead going in towards the mid-game. Second Evo Chamber as well will mean that he'll go for double upgrades. Okay, the Carapace and the missile attacks. So the Mutas are out. They're going to start hunting down Overlords, which are going to really supply block Soul Spirit. He's going to lose 1 Overlord, 2 Overlords. Again, there's so many Overlords out here on the map. There's 3 up in the north side. I mean, there was a 4th one before, but that actually already got killed as it was morphed into an Overseer and went to Scout. But the Mutas picking off a lot of Overlords, and this is just annoying. Soul Spirit wants to be making Hydras right now, but he's had to spend all his money on Overlords. so he doesn't have the money to actually make any Hydras. He's got plenty of Queens. He's got some spores in good positions, so he shouldn't run into too much trouble here. As we do see him starting up +2 missile attacks, and Wacker starting up the 1-1 for himself back at home. 59 draws to the 47. He starts at 4th base as well. As Wacker again seemingly ahead in the majority of things. He's got these mutas to harass with, and that's kind of his advantage over the +2 missile attack upgrade timing of Soul Spirit. As we see some links here are going to be starting to trade, and actually if these links can get in here for Wacker and trade well, but he needs to be careful, can't run into them Banes. If he can get in here with the Lings, then he can definitely try to fight against these Queens, and that's definitely what he's going to be looking for right now. He's going to send them Bane Lanes over towards the Queens. He's going to get some splash damage onto these, and that's going to waste a bunch of these transfuses. The Mutas will keep on fighting. It looks as though the Queens are going to run out. There's some Roaches coming across the map too as well. Wacker just streaming across the map here, and Gravity are going to be going through into the qualifying match today against Euronix Gaming, and we'll see which of these two teams is going to be the one to advance to the first division, as the Roach is getting cleaned up and these Mutas just hanging around in the main base. Gravity, very strong performance. I actually thought this series was going to be a little bit closer, but EJK came out with some very nice wins to start things off, and then after EJK, Wacker just very strong play to take down Relmer, especially Soul Spirit in this fairly back and forth link Bane base.